Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A, where we go over all latest news that happened during the week of mobile and answer your questions live. If you have any question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. Alright guys, we had some pretty interesting things happen this week. Obviously, we had the big Apple announcement. If you do want me to go over those things, I will go over at the end. Let me know in the comment section again, and I will talk just my initial thoughts on some of them. But as for right now, let's get on to the news. Okay, so the first thing is that Samsung has officially trademarked the Samsung Galaxy Z, the Samsung Z Fold tab. So this is officially a Z Fold that is in the tablet category. For design purposes, I'm very curious to see what that entails. Like, is this going to be, what size is this going to be? It's really the question. Now, this is the Z Fold one. So even though, we've had obviously, the Galaxy Z Fold 2, this is supposed to be a true Z Fold, meaning that it will have two bending parts. Now, Samsung is obviously playing around with different foldable devices and different foldable designs because this is obviously one of them in the Z shape. However, we've also seen a different style, and that is a folding inward, basically, display style. Now, this is very interesting because it actually specifies that the screens could be on either side. So with this, we're not sure if it's going to be a big screen and folding back, or a big screen and then folding in. So that yet still remains to be seen. However, the big thing is that it will have an S Pen basically lodged in the middle, so it'll always be in the middle, ready and there. So I find that, interesting that obviously they are still thinking about the S Pen overall with these tablets, these bigger tablets that are going to be a 10-inch display. Obviously, that's really a thing, so we'll have to wait and see when it goes down. But yeah. No, we did start at normal time today. And then we do have, again, Samsung has outsold Apple, which is what I told you guys would probably happen this time around because of their early S20 series launch. So the S21 launched a month earlier in comparison to before. So with that, it just really stopped. Apple in its tracks, which usually the past 2 years it hasn't, but Apple usually wins Q4 and Q1. Samsung always wins Q2 and Q3. Simply because, although iPhones are released in Q3, they're released the very end of Q3. And sometimes they've been actually released now in towards October, which obviously is going to be in Q4. So because of these differences in terms of release dates, Samsung has maintained really strong, but again, it just really maintained more. Now, both companies grew smartphone sales year over year in Q1. Apple grew 18 million and Samsung grew 19 million. So both are doing obviously fairly well, but when it comes to it all, it really is something big that, Samsung is really doing well. The other thing that's very interesting is that, Xiaomi is up there and Oppo is there, but it looks like Huawei has gotten a little bit out of the picture because of their issues. Now, what's so interesting about this is, of course, is Xiaomi going to be the new Huawei, which Huawei was basically looking like it would really go into competing with Apple and Samsung. Even they were going to get a carrier deal phone with AT&T before everything fell apart with them. Huawei was on their way. This was back in, the Nexus days and all of that kind of stuff, that they were just getting so much headway, and then it just all fell apart for them. So it's very interesting if Xiaomi will, if they're going to be politicized and investigated and all this kind of stuff. But it's very interesting. Also, as you see, Oppo is there. The reason why Oppo is such a big one is because they, of course, own OnePlus. So that's another interesting dynamic there that we're gonna see what happens really between them. So yeah, are you excited about other companies coming to selling this amount in comparison? Let me know your guys' thoughts. Okay, and then this news, the reason it wasn't a headline news because I don't believe it to be true. I just can't. It's just too idiotic. And it would kill their sales. So, the Galaxy Z Fold 3. There's already been talks about it being a little bit of a disappointment because the S Pen might not be in the phone. And it might be military grade spec, which means it can take drops more and it can even have the ability to have water resistance in it. But not having the S Pen inside, having smaller displays and a smaller battery than the Z Fold 2 has really got people worried. The one saving grace has been that we've heard that it's going to have the best cameras comparable to the ones we saw in the S21 Ultra. Well, a new tipster has just said that may not be the case. This tipster, I've never seen him, reveal anything or anything like that, so I'm taking it with a huge grain of salt. And that's, again, why it wasn't the main topic to start off the show. But they are saying that it's going to be a pathetic 12, 12, 12 megapixels across the board. And that would, of course, why I say it's pathetic is because it's basically the same exact cameras that the Z Fold 2 had. And honestly, that's just not acceptable. Like, if the Z Fold 3 has this, there's no doubt in my mind I will not keep the phone. I would buy it because I would need to for this channel purpose, but I would recommend people not get it. I would recommend people get the Z Fold 2. And I would definitely not, it would be such a letdown. Like, I couldn't see this being true. If it is, I just, like, all of the enthusiasm that I had for this phone will be gone. It's one thing to not have an S Pen slot inside. Okay, fine, that's, I had this pen for my Z Fold 2 last year and I carried it around with me, so I dealt with that. And this is going to be S Pen, so it's going to be more functionality. I dealt with the fact of having, all of these different things with the Z Fold 2, but I wanted a bigger display. I wanted better cameras. I wanted better battery life. And if Samsung can't deliver that, honestly, I'm not going to keep it for sure. Let me know, again, and especially because here's the crazy part about this. How can you replace the Note with this? Like, it would be such a fall from grace. And I hope Samsung doesn't do it. I really hope this isn't true. But it would just be such a huge disaster and them not knowing their own customers. So yeah, again, let me know what you guys think. Am I being too harsh on Samsung? Do you guys agree with me? Are you guys completely like, no, this is complete, whatever? Let me know in the comment section. All right. Now, this one is a very, very interesting thing. And it brings up a lot of questions that I didn't think could ever be asked or could we reverse this? So, Apple has canceled this person's account, right? This person claims he doesn't know why the account was canceled, is unaware of what he did, has asked Apple, and they have not said why specifically. So, he is now suing them because he has purchased over the years $25,000 worth of content which ranges from movies to music to all this kind of stuff, that he now is saying he no longer has access to because he can't sign into his account. And Apple asked for this to be dismissed, and the judge said, no, we will actually hear this. And this brings up a really interesting thing, because I think we all know that that was the trade-off, right? That was the trade-off from going to physical media to digital media. And the trade-off was that, yes, we always have our own, physical media, so we can do whatever we want with it, basically. We can't sell it, we can't make copies of it and sell it, but, everything under the FBI regulation kind of thing is basically, it's your physical copy. No one can take it away from you. But here's the thing about that. If we can actually wouldn't that be an interesting thing to force companies like Google, like Samsung, like Apple, that if you ever close your account, you are entitled to digital copies of everything you purchased? That's a very interesting thing that, again, in this new digital age, we've never actually, at least I've never even considered to be a possibility, because it was just the trade-off we did. A really, really good example is actually the movie Dogma. So I actually purchased this movie a long, long time ago, right? Long time ago when it was digital. Here's the thing about that. Dogma, you cannot get on any streaming service, on any digital version. It was taken off of digital, and they took it from people's collections. So even if you had bought it like I did, it was no longer in my collection. And I found that just like, wait, what? How can this happen? It's a whole legal thing, and it has to do with the Weinstein Company and the whole mess that that company is in for horrible things, obviously. But so because of that, though, it was something that I had purchased, I had owned, and I bought it, but they were able to take it away. So the big question is in the word buy. Because, you either rent something or you buy it. And if you bought it, then shouldn't you have ownership of it? So that's a really interesting thing here. And again, you would think that Apple, Google, Voodoo, all these companies are safe because this is in their terms and conditions, obviously. But the fact that the court systems are now taking a look at it could be a very interesting factor of us actually having more ownership of the digital content we buy. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Would you guys love to see this kind of change? Do you think it's fair that something that you purchase can be taken away from you at any point if deemed that, that, oh, we don't have the rights to this anymore, so we're taking it away, which is what happened with Dogma. Or, if you get kicked out of this account, should you have access to the content that you purchased? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. I'm very interested to see other people's thoughts on this. And it was something that I've never questioned, but the fact that it can be questioned is kind of interesting to me. All right, guys. Hey, Alex E., thank you so much for your super chat donation. Love your vids, man. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that, and I always appreciate any super chat donation. I really do. All right, now let's get to your questions. Again, if you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. All right. Apple YouTubers are anticipating a large update to iPadOS 15 after the large spec bump on the 12.9 iPad Pro. Yes, they are expecting it. Although, do they know Apple? So yeah, I am very curious to see if Apple will actually do anything. Because obviously we have WWDC, it's coming in June. So it's about a little over a month away now. But what's going to happen? Like, what things are we going to see from them to really change fundamentally what iPadOS is? Because the whole thing was that they were supposed to change it from iOS to iPadOS. But it hasn't really been that different. I mean, with the exception of things like split screen that were already there, and the whole second screen thing that they pioneered, and now Samsung tablets have, and I'm sure other tablets will get. That's a really cool feature, and they should get praise for that. But what can they do to iPadOS? Are they going to finally make a true Final Cut for it? I think that could be something that could change the game for iPads. I think if they were to bring Final Cut to iPads, that would fundamentally move the needle for them. But will they make that many changes? And if so, because right now there is no real reason to buy an iPad 12.9 inch display, in my opinion. And the reason is because for that same ability, you can buy a MacBook Air. And you're getting the same accountability, but you're getting iOS, which is far superior to iPads. So it's really kind of curious to see what they're going to do, but we'll have to wait and see. I just want to know. I think Final Cut could be a big thing for iPads to get, and real Final Cut could be a huge thing. We'll have to wait and see. For the first time, Apple is advertising the RAM on an iPad. Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like it really is interesting that they're talking about, like, oh, look how much storage you can get, look how much RAM you can get, just because people have had iPads for so long, and they're not really limited, basically, right? Like, if you have last year's iPad, does it really make a difference to get this year's? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, what are you doing on there that's really going to justify you buying the latest model? Probably nothing. So that's the whole thing about it, is that it really is a whole thing where you're not going to see it be the biggest difference for sure. Hey, Rudy Can't Game, thank you so much for your super chat donation, sir. This is why I got disc PS5 and never digital media. I completely understand that. It was something that was very difficult for me. I did get the digital media version. For me, though, again, I think I've told this story before. It was because as I've gotten kids in the house now, my storage has shrunk. So I feel like I don't have the space to, I used to have like a whole thing of all of my video games, right? Whole stacks of all the video games, all my discs and everything like that. If I keep those out right now, they'll just get destroyed. So I end up, taking all my old discs and put them in those old CD things, the CD flaps things. And that's why I've decided to just go digital, just because I don't have the space for disc anymore, as much as I would like to. But I completely understand. And it's something that, like, I do think, like, oh man, I'm buying this, but I can't resell it after I'm done with it, which is, what I would say most gamers like to do. Let's see. Apple iPad 12.9 crushes all others. By what standard, Max? Because here's the thing that I still find it funny. Like, people don't realize, like in the video, the topic I just talked about, right, where it was, does iPad have a better processing chip? Yes. Does it have a better graphics? No, it hasn't had better graphics for a while now. But it's definitely so advanced in terms of getting more tablet version of apps. That's very well done. But I really think that it is very poorly done all across the board, how few apps actually concentrate on tablets in general as a market. not only for Android but for iPads too. And it's just certain things like, why isn't this better optimized? It's always something that's just very annoying and frustrating altogether when it comes to tablet market. When do you think the release date will be for the Galaxy Watch 4 will be? I do not believe, we'll find out Wednesday, but I don't believe that the watch will be announced on Wednesday. I do believe that's going to be further down the line. That will probably be around, when is it? That will probably be on July. Yeah, that's the last we heard that the Fold is going to come out or announced in. So I think that'll be announced in July, and then to come out probably late July, early August. Being in mobile sales, people do not use everything these devices can do. Only people who care are techies. Absolutely, absolutely true. And that's the thing. That's why I said most people that have last gen or 2 year old iPad 12, iPad 12, I think it was in 12.9 at the time. I think it was smaller than that at the time. To 12.2 or 12. But those ones, they were, can do, again, just as much that anyone wants to do on an iPad. So, again, it really hasn't excelled as much, and they haven't given people a reason to upgrade. That's why people keep iPads for so long. That's why people keep tablets for so long. It's because they're not really worth the upgrade for most people, more so than smartphones. I would say most people keep a tablet for an average of 3 to 5 years. As for people keep smartphones now between 2 to 3 years on average. So it really is an extended time frame that people keep tablets for because there's no reason to upgrade for the most part. What phone case do you think is the best for the S21 Ultra? I'm right now. I'm using the Spigen case with the S Pen, so I can put my S Pen right inside of it. So I do like that one. There is a lot of them. I don't think I ever did the top cases. Obviously, we did like 5 different or I think more actually, different cases for the S21. I like a lot of them. One I was really surprised with, and I haven't bought it yet because I do use the S Pen. But one that I really was impressed with was their newest clear case with the kickstand. Samsung's clear case with the kickstand. It was such a good quality for the S21 that I got my mom, and that one was so good. I was really impressed with the quality of that one. And I kept saying to myself, I'm going to buy it with the Ultra, but I never did just because of the fact that I wanted the S Pen with me, and I'm not going to carry the S Pen if it's not part of the case. So that's the one that I end up getting. New Macs are a joke. I actually thought they were going to be liked by a lot of people. I was surprised by how much everyone hated it. I get it. Everyone hates on the chin, which I do understand, and I do agree that it's a bragging thing how thin it is. But my monitor, I don't care how big this is right now. I don't care how thick it is in the back because I never notice it. So I do agree with no one cares how thick it is once you're actually using it. So yes, I do agree that they should have made it thicker and should have made the bezels smaller, and that should have been it. I also do hate the white bezels. I don't know why they thought that would be cool or fun or hip or anything like that, but it was definitely the worst choice of the new Macs was the white bezel, easily, in my opinion. We had to give up the Note for this. I totally agree with you, Red. Yeah, we totally had to give up the Note for this Galaxy Fold that is rumored would really suck. I hope not. I hope not. Samsung keeps shooting itself in the foot. They have before, and they could again. Yes, they know their customers. No, they don't. Samsung does not know their customers. That is complete BS. Trust me. I've known people that work for Samsung. I've heard the way executives have talked in meetings. I have, seen so much inside stuff at Samsung. I will tell you right now, they do not know their customers. They absolutely do not know their customers. They thought it was okay that they were similar to Apple at one point, and I was just like, they're idiots. Like they don't understand it. They don't understand their customers. It's too late for us Note fans. I'm already moved on to Apple and loving it. Well, no, remember, there will be a Note next year. They have confirmed that. There will be a Galaxy Note next year. We don't know how it's going to be, but there will be a Galaxy Note this year, but they're not going to be one this year. Which, again, will cause a lot of people like yourself to jump. I think if we buy it, it should be ours no matter what. I understand that completely. What improvements would you really see from Samsung DeX mode, or do you think it should die off? The biggest thing that Samsung DeX mode could do is something that iPadOS has done, and apparently it's pretty good from what I've heard from my friends that have iPads, and that is always opening up in desktop mode. So on my tablet, I never want to see a mobile website. I never want to see a mobile website on my tablet. So if I open up things in DeX, I should never see a mobile website. I think that's really good. But to be fair, I don't use Samsung's internet. I use Chrome, like most people do on Android. So that being said, that isn't only for Samsung to do, it's also for them to get with them to do it with Google. So, but I think they need to really, really do that. But that's the biggest thing that they could fix with DeX for sure. Also, DeX, you can't full screen certain apps. Like I turn DeX off when I connect it to a TV because it's actually worse. Like it is a lower quality when I connect it to a TV on DeX than it is if I would just be to connect it for like something like HBO Max. If you try to stream something, you're better off not using DeX. Hey, Creo, thank you so much for sending a super chat donation. I really do appreciate it. From what you think about the rumor of the new next Galaxy watches getting Wear OS, I had Sony Smartwatch 3 and Moto 360. Besides limitations back then, I really like them. Regards from Brazil. Thank you so much for that. So what do you what do I think about it? I'm very curious if it's going to be only a Wear OS version, and like they're not going to have a Tizen version. They could do it to test the market to see how this one would do and how this one would sell in comparison to their Tizen watches. Because Samsung really does do that with their watches more than anything else. If you look at the Galaxy Watch, bigger battery, thicker, still pretty much probably the best watch they ever made was the Galaxy Watch in my opinion. Galaxy Watch Active 2, smaller battery, smaller screen, but it didn't have the regular rotating bezel, it had a digital one. That worked kind of, but it didn't sell as much, and people didn't like it as much, so it didn't sell as much, and has definitely dropped in price just because they're trying to get rid of it now at this point. Then you also had the Galaxy Watch 3, which looks really good, is very clean, but doesn't have the same battery life of the Galaxy Watch. So they definitely tried different things with their watches. So could they just make a Wear OS version? It's a possibility. Do I think it would be a smart idea? I personally don't. I would give people a choice between one or the other. But I just hope that Samsung makes the interface more like Tizen. Because Wear OS is a mess in my opinion. It's still a mess. The last time I tested it out, which was about a year ago. And unless they have some really big changes, I still see it as needing a lot of things they need to update, for sure. Thank you again for the super chat. Let's see. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions loaded. Everybody drink. By the way, don't forget to get the new mugs from the merch store down in the description. I agree with you about the Z Fold 3 because the pricey and they charge consumers smartphones should be all the bleeding technology. Absolutely, I agree. Again, if I'm paying $2,000 for a smartphone it better have the best of the best. Like it just, I don't understand that. My thoughts on the Fold 3: smaller battery, screen, no housing for the S Pen. You had to buy them, and you had to buy them. Yes, you have to buy it separately. It's no replacement for the Note, so I'm looking forward to the Note next year. I completely agree. If this is what we get, I completely agree. I will not be liking it for sure. I always resell my games to pay for newer games. Yes, I was one who always did that with the PS3, PS2. I stopped doing it as much on the PS4 towards the end, towards the last 2 years. And again, that's why the change happened for me. I have not seen the PS5 in my area yet. You have to get part of those apps. There are things where like you can get notified as soon as they're in stock for like Walmart or Best Buy or whatever, because they do get shipments. I've seen a lot of them on Slick Deals for Walmart specifically. But yeah, PS5s are just still selling out so much. What is a good tablet for kids? I think it does depend on the age for kids. I have had my son starting to use a quote unquote tablet since he was about one. Um, Maybe a little bit earlier. I think at 10 months, I had the Galaxy View, which is not something I recommend, but you can see it on my Instagram, where he learned how to open YouTube, how to close a video, and how to pick another video. So now he's got it down where he can go to different apps and everything like that. So I really wanted to make sure that touchscreens were second nature to him, at even at a young age, because that's what he's going to need in the future. It's going to be all touchscreen by the time he's in high school. Basically, it's going to be all touchscreen by then. So that was one thing I had him. But I gave him another tablet, which was basically just plays kids videos. It's just an auto player for kids videos. So that was another thing. I recently got him the Amazon Kids tablet because I thought that would be great. But that tablet really is not made until you're like 3, 4 years old, pretty much 4 years old, I would say, because it really, you have to know how to navigate it, and it's probably, in my opinion, the worst form of navigation I've seen on a tablet. Just because you can't customize the home screen, because Amazon wants you to get more and wants them to get more stuff. So they're basically constantly trying to upsell your kids. So I don't like that. If I were to say to get it for a kid like 3 or 4, I would actually prefer a Samsung tablet with a rubber casing, um, like a regular Samsung tablet, like the Tab A7, right? I think that's like $200. Getting that one, get a rubber casing on it, get a screen protector on it, and download Samsung Kids or Samsung Kids mode. And that locks them into whatever apps you want to get for them. And I think that's a far better experience for kids. But yeah, that's a quick excerpt. It depends on, again, what kind of things, all that. So yeah. Um, let's see. Got updates on my Samsung S20 Plus. Seems to have fixed the up close focus issue. That's good. Yeah, I think they could fix everything with software except for the S20 Ultra. That was the only one that was having that one was a hardware issue with the focus in comparison to the other ones. My Galaxy Watch for some reason overheated and burned my wrist. What do you think I should do? I mean, if it actually burned your wrist, you could have a legal case, man. I mean, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I'm not giving legal advice. I would say you should seek out legal advice in that sense because, yeah, if it burned your wrist, Samsung would probably give money just to hush it away, kind of thing. But yeah, so it's a very interesting thing, but I hope you feel okay. But yeah, if it overheated, I mean, it was an obvious malfunction and everything like that. They're probably going to ask you multiple questions like, what charger have you been using, all that kind of stuff. So be ready for that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would. I would totally try to make a little thing out of it. Any external Type-C microphones for phones? Yeah, I'm actually about to reach out to this company about theirs because I was looking for one and I really like this one. So this is kind of like the one I use, which is the Rode microphone, which basically, oops, got a stain on there. But basically, this mic clips onto me, and I like that style. So another company that has that, let's see, is this one. And so I'm going to put the link in the description down below. It's the international links. Now my Amazon links are international, which are pretty cool. But so this one I think is a really, really cool one. It's a USB-C wireless. So you basically plug it into the bottom of your phone, and then you have a wireless clip-on for you. Or it also comes with a lavalier cord, so you can actually keep this in your pocket, which I do for some of my other videos, and then use a lavalier to bring it up. So this is a really cool setup. Again, I'm going to reach out to this company to see if I can review it and really tell you guys how good it is. But it is $169, so it's not the cheapest solution per se, but it's definitely something if you're going to use it for the long run. It's just nice not to have to be like, you know, kind of like this talking, and you know, you can actually just be like casual. You can use a controller, you can do whatever you want and still game the way you want to while using it. More of a shotgun mic. I have not seen a Type-C shotgun mic per se off the top of my head that I can recommend, that I could remember, because all of them have been for the most part still like the adapter to the headphone jack kind of deal. So off the top of my head, I do not know a shotgun mic one. I would have to look more into that, which I'll try to find out to see if I can see anything on sale for tomorrow's tech deals. Ricky, what do you think about this trade? Galaxy Fold 2 for 500 cash and a Microsoft Duo 256. Leather case, skin, screen protector. Whew. Here's the thing. The Galaxy Fold 2 is pretty much better in every way compared to the Duo. Yes, you're getting $500 trade, so maybe it's worth it, and maybe you can resell the Microsoft Duo. But it's more so if you're really interested in the Duo, then great. But from what I've heard, it still has a lot of issues. I asked people that, like, hey, you know, I think it was like a couple months ago. Hey, I want to say it was like December. Are all the bugs out of and fixed with the Duo? And everyone was basically saying it's pretty much like it was day one, and Microsoft hasn't really done enough to update it. So I wouldn't recommend it for that reason. So unless you really want the Duo, go for it, but I wouldn't really get it. Do you think the Note line could be reimagined, including a lower price cell phone customers that have been stylus phones similar to the Note LG Stylo line? I don't know, because it does cost them money. LG uses a different technology compared to what the S Pen can do. So, you know, it's not a stylus in that sense that you can do more than just the stylus can. So, yeah, I'm not sure how it'll go. But I don't see them doing it now. Because it does cost them more in order to do the digitizer screen in order for it to receive an S Pen. Will Android Messages RCS apps still work without carriers saying they are pulling the plug on that? I don't know. It's kind of up to Google and Samsung, I would say mostly, because they're the ones that could tell the carriers F you. They really can. They can get rid of text messages if they want to, but it's their relationship with the carriers that prevents them from doing it. Because think about it, iMessages didn't ask permission. Do you think they cared about what the carrier said? No. What Samsung and Google have both stated separately on separate occasions is that they don't want to create their own text messaging service to compete with iMessage without the carriers, without hurting their carrier relationship. It's stupid. It should have been taken care of 5+ years ago, but we're still in this state. So yeah, RCS was supposed to be the answer. I don't know if it will be now without. Again, it all depends on Google and Samsung. Ricky, do you find it strange that Google charges Android OEMs to put Google apps on their phones, but doesn't charge Apple? Why don't they charge Apple? Well, they own the operating system. That's part of why they can charge. They own Google. Sorry, they own Android as a platform. So because they own it, they really, want it there. Now, in terms of Apple, it's a very interesting thing because you have to remember the early days where Apple and Google were really bumping heads. I mean, if you remember, there was a time when you couldn't get YouTube on iPhones, and it was because of their dispute on that. They basically, Apple backtracked on that and Google won that fight. Apple then made the standard search result that Siri uses Bing instead of Google. That I still believe is current. Google hasn't won that back because it was a 5-year thing. So Apple, you could say, won that. And Apple tried to do their own maps, made it the standard map thing. People hated it. They went back on that and Google won that. So it is a very mixed thing, but the reason why they charge for one and not the other is because they own Android. They don't own. It's the very same reason why they don't charge Microsoft for having Google apps on the Microsoft Store, which I know hardly anyone uses, but they don't charge for that either because they don't own it. So that's why. Ricky, your thoughts on Microsoft Store redesign? Hope Microsoft Store can compete with the Google Play Store. I have not seen the store redesign. I know they are doing a lot of redesigning right now, Microsoft. I don't know what Microsoft can do to attract developers because they have been losing that battle for years. They've offered them double to triple the amount of money, I think, at some points to the big players. And it's just been a failing effort. So I don't know what they can do. That is one thing that, unless they do a scorched earth policy, which is what Apple did, right? Unless they say, we're going all in on ARM, and if you don't make your programs work for ARM, you're not going to be on Windows. That would scare the hell out of everybody. And that would make them do it. But other than that, don't know. Is the mug dishwasher safe? I do put in the dishwasher. I'm not sure if it's dishwasher safe. It hasn't ruined it. I put in the dishwasher probably about 4 times. I'll get back to you on that, but I would have to, if you look at the links, I'm sure that it would say hand wash or dishwash on the website for the merch. But yeah, I can tell you I have put it. My mug's still okay. Everything is still fine. It's like raised on here. So it basically pops out. So this is like, it's not like engraved. It's like a bump, if that makes sense. So it's not, you can feel it completely, the texture of it. So it's really nice. Definitely better than my past store for sure. When I was doing Redbubble, this one is a solid mug quality. Redbubble, when I did put it in the dishwasher, that one like chipped and everything and all that kind of stuff. It was not good. This one has been pretty solid so far. Am I the only one that uses Apple and Samsung and likes both the same? Whoa, a whole bunch of questions started. And yes, I believe you do. I don't know. It's very much like if you like Apple, you love the the you know perfect setup, precision, great quality, and just ecosystem is made to perfection, right? If you like Android, you like the ability to do more than the limitations that Apple gives you because of that ecosystem. You can use Microsoft, you can use Google, you can use all these different things. Whereas Apple really hinders you from doing that on their own platform. You know, like, yes, you can use Google Photos on iOS, but it's so it's so much easier to use their own photo. Like it's all these different things that Apple does. So that's why I think it's very difficult for people to like both at the same time and both the same because each one has so many different benefits and solutions that it's hard to like them the same, I would say. I would say you like one more than the other, but it is hard to like them the same because they give you completely different benefits. I wonder if the S Pen on my Note 20U will work on the ZF3. Yes, actually it will. So JR, if you didn't know, every S Pen works on every surface that can use an S Pen. So, for instance, here's my tablet. There's my S Pen for this device. This S Pen can do every single thing that this S Pen can. So I can totally start using this just like I would on any device. Same vice versa. This S Pen could work on my tablet, no problem. So yeah, any S Pen can work on any S Pen screen perfectly. Like there's no drawbacks of it. The newer ones that were with the Note had Bluetooth built in on them, which the other ones don't have. But that is the only limitation you could say. Ah, darn, I'm late. It's okay, quiet. Thank you for joining. Um, I love lots of Apple products except the phones. I cannot stand the notch, the inability to full customization out of the box. I totally agree. I do not understand how Apple users still give like excuses for the notch. That notch is horrible on iPhones. It is like so old, so dated that I would gladly take a hole punch over a notch any day of the week. It's ugly. It's just really ugly. I do hate the notch on the iPhone. It's for me. There's no reason for it. Obviously, in 2021, it was the worst year ever for that notch because not only was it ugly, but it didn't do the one thing you wanted it to, which is unlock your phone because we were all wearing masks. So it was just like the worst thing ever times 10, I think, last year. But yeah, I don't know. I do hate the notch. I will, like, forget the customization for me. I mean, I do love that, but the notch was just horrible. I also hate how Apple does settings. Like, I mean, it took them forever to change the setting in the camera to like I want to be able to just go, how it should be, which is I'm in the camera and I hit settings. And that's what should happen, right? Like that should be it. That's the way it should be. And it took them forever to do those kind of things. And they still don't have it for all their apps like that. Um Why do you think that the Apple put 2 terabytes on an iPad, but the Mac's iMac at 512? Is that really true? iMac can only go up to 512? That's crazy. That's horrible. Like, that should not be the max at all. Like, I guess because they see this one. So, if you didn't know, this is a smaller iMac. There is going to be a bigger iMac before the end of the year. And that will be the higher quality iMac. So, I guess they're trying to differentiate them more so. With this iMac, I'm guessing it's what, 128, 256, and 512. And then with the other iMacs, it'll probably be 256, 512, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. And that'll be the bigger screen, like 28 inch or whatever it's going to be, to replace the older 24 inch. I think it was 21 and 24, right? Was the old iMacs? I forget what they were. But yeah, they're replacing both sizes. This was the smaller size one. The bigger size one's going to be replaced later. Oh, that's cold, Rudy. Samsung partnered with Amazon to make a Fire Watch. Yeah, that's sucks, man. Definitely though, you probably for sure have a case, man, if you got burned from a watch. Uh, why do Spotify works better on the Apple Watch when Samsung had it first? Makes me mad. I agree. Um, Especially for the fact that Spotify hates Apple. But yeah, I'm. It's developers and their own priorities. If their priorities are local to the U.S., Apple sells more. If their priorities are global on a global scale, then they'll work with Android very well. But that's all it is because Android far outsells Apple. So as an operating system, you have more customers on Android by far compared to iOS. However, if your niche and what you're targeting is only the US, then Apple far sells Android. So you're gonna gear towards iOS. So it just depends on what you're going for, and developers make those choices. Bro, where are you from? Um, from Los Angeles. My parents are Mexican, if that's what you mean. But yeah, when do when you do your tech video, can you look for a PC tower that's good, not fantastic for gaming, but less than 800 maybe? I will take a look at that for you, Warren. So less than 800, computer that can do some gaming. What was the first game you played on the new Red Magic? 51st Dates, shameless plug. Thank you for that, Quiet Storm. See, if you wouldn't have shown up, I wouldn't have plugged it. So thank you for always showing up. Yes, as always, we have to plug my shameless plug, and that is my dating app that I created. 51st Date Questions. It's a great game you can play with your significant other on a first date or just when you're dating someone and you want to have a fun date night. I definitely recommend it to always just take some time, have a good date night with your significant other, and you can play this game, and it's really fun. Always have great reviews for it, so I really do appreciate that. Links in the description down below. It's free on Android and iOS. All right. Apple Maps, LOL. Yeah, Apple Maps. So good. So good. I remember it was literally like Apple Maps was a disaster, obviously, when it first came out. But one of them was literally like, turn right. And the person was on a bridge. So it was like Siri's literally telling you, jump off a bridge. If Siri told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Because it happened. um, Everyone knows Rigsby is the best. I mean, you can't argue with Rigsby. What is the configuration on your Tab S7 Plus? Is it the 512 version? Um, from what site did you buy it from? Around what month did you buy it? Um, what is my storage on here? I don't know. I bought it from Samsung directly. I traded in my Tab S6 because they had a deal on that. But I do not know off the top of my head what storage it is. Oh wait, do I have that? Nope. Let me check. The storage is... So I did only get the 128 gig of store. Or wait. Yes, yes. I got the 128 gig storage, and I have a 512 storage though, micro SD card in it. So, but that is where I got it from. I got it from Samsung directly. And again, they did a really good trade in with the Tab S6 when I bought it. So that is when I got it. I got it when it came out because I just wanted a bigger tablet. Like as soon as I saw the 12-inch screen, I was sold. I was like, all right, that's it. I'm getting it. That's all that did it for me, because it is still, I would still argue, this is the best tablet display on the market, and it is the best multimedia screen on the market by far. I would choose this over Apple's mini LED because this will, one, last longer battery, and two, OLED I think is going to be better than mini LED overall. But yeah, so that's why. But yeah, I guarantee you, as soon as we start seeing those battery lives on that mini LED, you're either going to see it doesn't get as bright stably, or it's definitely going to run more when it plays video, because mini LED does consume more energy than OLED does. Why can't iPhones be more customizable as Android? Because Apple wants to control everything. Did you end up getting the OnePlus 9 Pro? If not, is there any plans? Should I give you a little inside baseball, guys? I'll give you a little inside baseball. This is what the team at OnePlus did. So, I just saw this tonight. I was looking at some things while I was setting up. One person contacted me, said that they will, send me a OnePlus for the channel, and they would like us to do 2 videos on it. One, just a highlighting of the phone video, and 2, a comparison to the S21 Ultra. And I was like, okay, if that's what you want, I can do those 2 videos, but no favoritism or anything, yada yada, all that kind of stuff, right? And they were like, yeah, of course, we understand. Perfect. Gave them my information. They said they would send it to me. A week went by. Hey, are you guys going to send me a tracking number once you send it? Nothing. Sorry, not nothing. Oh, yeah, we will. We'll definitely send you a tracking number when we send it. Okay. 2 weeks went by. Hey, are you guys still sending it to us? Oh, yeah, we're definitely still sending it to you. Okay. I think it was Friday or Saturday when they sent it, and I just saw it today. Hey, we're contacting you from OnePlus to see how's the progress going for the video. We had heard that you said you were going to do 2 videos. How's the progress going? I don't have the phones. They've never sent me the phones. And I don't know if they'll ever see this. I don't know if they'll ever care. But I don't mind telling that to you guys, because this is just some craziness that happens behind the scenes when you're talking to these companies, and they're just like, they expect you to do things, and you can agree to them. You can be, as look, I'm not going to favor you guys, that you guys can send it to me, but I'm not going to, because you're bad, I'm not begging to get your phone either. But, you said you'll send it? Okay, great. Didn't happen, and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, their PR company is not the best in my opinion, from what I've seen. But yeah, this was their first time contacting me. This is the kind of thing that I've had with them. So we'll see how it turns out if I ever get this device. So yeah, I'm gonna message them obviously tomorrow morning or tonight and just be like, yeah, I never got the phone. So the videos, the progress on them is at nothing. Yeah. I mean to say, I wonder if the Bluetooth functionality on the Note 20 Ultra will work on the S21 Ultra. No, because it would need to pair with it through UW, which it wouldn't on this. So no, I don't think it would. The Bluetooth functionality, I can tell you, does not work on the Note 20 Ultra to the S21 Ultra. I can tell you that because my wife has my old Note 20 Ultra, and I have the S21 Ultra, and the Bluetooth functionality does not work with it. The only notch that's acceptable is a Rigsby notch. Yes. It was funny. I was just telling my wife today. I was like, it does not look like my son is going to get my widow's peak. You know, that is one thing that's always been very definitively me, and he is still flat like most other people. So it does not look like he'll get my widow's peak after all. I don't think I will ever buy an iPhone. I never liked them. Can do so much on Android, and I don't like FaceTime. I do like FaceTiming though. Got it. How much did you buy your Tab S7 Plus for? I bought it when it was first out, so I think it was like 900 bucks. With my trade-in, I think I got like 550 or 600 for the Tab S6 that I had. So I think the difference then would have been like what 900. I think it was 550 or 600, and then plus tax. So you figure around like 400 or so was the difference. I think it's what I paid for it. Um, I have a Tab S7 Plus 2. I don't use it every day, but when I do, I'm amazed how beautiful the screen display is, and it's huge. I agree. Did you check out the new Sony Xperia phones? And will you get one? I won't. With Sony, it's kind of like the same thing with a lot of the Chinese brands. More than 50% of my viewership is US. Um, so although I could try to, cater towards phones that are really not going to be available in the US or really aren't popular in the US, it's just because I would have to pay for it myself, it doesn't end up being profitable for me. And I've done that before, where I got all these different phones and everything like that, and the views weren't there. It didn't do well, so it didn't make sense for me. So yeah, so it was just although I would love to do it, Sony has changed their PR company so many times that I don't know who to contact anymore for them. So if they would send me the phone, I would gladly review it. But for me to pay that much for a smartphone, because Sony's aren't cheap, it just doesn't make sense affordability for me for sure. And I'll always be straight up with you guys. Like it's not that like I don't want to test it out. It's just that the views aren't there for it. So for me to do it, it needs to be worth it. Like I'm testing out. I never really reviewed the A series, right? I've never done videos for the A series. I bought the A52 for about 350 bucks. Hopefully, I can sell it for about 200 or so, right? 250 or whatever. I have a friend that sells all my phones now. I pay him. I pay him a cut, and it's just so much easier. But basically, I bought that phone, seeing if it's worth it to do more A series phones. If those videos do well, then I know it is. If those videos do not so well, which right now it's kind of up in the air, I'll give it 2 more weeks. But that'll determine if I get the A72 later on too. So yeah, it's all for me. I'm very much by the numbers. If it will get if it's worth it affordability wise for me, I'll always buy the phone and I'll always test it out and I'll let you guys know what I think. But if it's not, then I won't. Oh, he can just cut his beard when he gets one with the Rigsby notch. Funny enough, my son already has like a little bit of a mustache, and it was the same with me. When I was a kid, I had a mustache in preschool. He can already see he has like a little bit darker hairs right here. So I'm like, he's definitely growing that Perez facial hair. Everyone loves and stops me when I sing on Bonfire phone. Oh, everyone loves and stops me when I see the bonfire on my phone. Thank you. Oh, that's so cool, the fire. Actually, to be fair, just so you know, it's not a bonfire per se, although I can definitely see that. Like I'm looking at the image in my head right now. It was actually at a restaurant. It was a restaurant where I used to live in the valley. It was called the Odyssey, and it basically in their outdoor dining area when it was still an option back in the day. In their outdoor dining area, you basically could go for like you take your drinks. Like it wasn't for eating there, but you could take your drinks there and kind of mingle around this fire pit. And it was so cool, and that's where I shot that video. But it's so cool that people still are always amazed by it. That is a really cool thing. Do you use your EDU stuff when buying Samsung stuff? Sometimes. Sometimes the EDU email that I did purchase, it is I have saw it is way cheaper on certain things. Like man, if you want to buy a Chromebook, you can buy last year's like $1,000 Samsung Chromebook for like $500 right now without a trade in because of the EDU discount. So yeah, some like things like laptops and Chromebooks, EDU discount is really good with. Things like TVs and smartphones, they're still way better off using the friends and family discount or your at work discount. Um, they would have put they would have to put you in the next Spider-Man movie to get you to buy a Sony phone. Hey, if they put me in a Spider-Man movie, I will gladly buy a Sony phone, right? I mean, everyone in there. I still always laugh because everyone in Sony movies uses like a Sony Xperia phone, like every single one of them, which is always just so funny. Will the Fold 3 be able to hold the S Pen? As of the latest leaks, we are hearing that it will not be internal. That is not a definite, but we'll have to wait and see. I still use my lock screen Fire that you made. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, if you actually go to youtubetechguy.com, you can actually get this legit screen. I don't have it anymore because now I have my son's video as my lock screen. But basically, you can create a lock screen 4K video. It's something that's exclusive really to Samsung smartphones, and it's just so good, such good quality that it just always wows anyone that around. And I made one with a Fire that looks fire. I have a Galaxy Tab A with S Pen. S Pen broke right away. Will any pen work? Best Buy didn't know. Any S Pen will work on that tablet. Yes, absolutely. You can get specialty S Pens that Samsung's made in the past. Like I got the Tab S3 S Pen for one of these because it had the little clip part. So I thought that was a pretty cool one to get. But yeah, any S Pen will work for it. All right, guys, I think we will call that a show. We went a little bit over today, but you guys had a lot of questions, so I wanted to make sure to answer them. Thank you guys always so much for stopping by. If you can, before you leave, it really helps me out if you give a like, thumbs up to this video. Share it with, friends, family, all that kind of stuff. Really could use your help right now, guys, to get more followers and get more subscribers, so we can definitely grow this channel as much as possible. Thank you guys always so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Again, this has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the